What up? It's your boy J Lloyd. I'm back with another reaction video. This video is gonna be reacting to dumbest criminals. Before we get into the video, I'm gonna start by saying add me on social media. Twitter at J_Lloyd. No, J_Keyron_Lloyd. Snapchat Keyron_Lloyd. And Instagram J_Lloyd18. But now, let's go ahead and get to this video, man.
So close, yet, well, still pretty far. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 dumbest criminals. For this list, we're taking a look at people who attempted to commit a crime but failed miserably in the process. Number 20, the doorbell licker. You might not be familiar with Salinas, California, but it's the hometown of a few famous folks. Writer John Steinbeck, performer Vanessa Hudgens, and of course, 33-year-old Roberto.
You don't know how many people don't put their hand on that camera, bro. And you licking it. What the fuck?
Daniel Arroyo, perhaps more commonly known as the doorbell licker. Sylvia Duncan's decision to install a Ring doorbell camera into her front door yielded a pretty curious home movie, starring Arroyo as he licked her doorbell for 3 whole hours.
Yeah. He's into this. He is really into this.
He practicing how to eat. Never mind, let's finish the video.
As the case went viral online, police quickly caught up with him. They pointed out that the clear quality of the footage made him much easier to identify. So, a word of advice to would-be doorknob lickers, maybe make sure to check for a camera before going about your licking.
That's why the doorknob and this is completely white because I wiped it down with 4 medical grade sanitary cloths.
Number 19, Dennis Hawkins.
Let's go, pal! I'm here with girls!
Wearing a disguise is great for concealing one's identity if one is going to commit a crime. Someone should have told Dennis Hawkins that in order for a disguise to work, however, it has to be somewhat believable.
Sit up and take a look, Gary.
It's uncanny.
Hawkins apparently missed that memo as he attempted to rob a bank wearing clown pants with a pair of fake breasts and a blonde wig.
Sorry, they're new. Dr. Dorfman did an amazing.
Not only did you try to go rob the bank, you had fake breasts. For what? What was the point of that?
It gets so real.
Not only did he fail to cover his face, which still had a goatee and mustache, but the disguise also attracted attention, and the police easily apprehended him. Number 18, Daniel Glenn.
I need you to arrest me.
I bet it did attract attention. It would attract my attention to see a woman walking down there with a full goatee. But in this case, never mind.
It's important to be prepared, especially if you're going to rob a store. It's possible to be too prepared, though, which is exactly what happened to Daniel Glenn, who inexplicably decided to call ahead to ask the store how much cash was in the register. Imagine how that conversation went. Hello, I'd like to place a takeout order for all the money. Can I get fries with that? Confused and slightly alarmed, the store owner immediately called the police, who arrested Glenn on his way to the store. Number 17, Tony Van. Breaking the law requires a certain audacity. But Tony Van, a 37-year-old San Francisco hairstylist, took this to a new level when he drove a stolen car to his own trial. Van was facing charges for possessing a stolen $125,000 Porsche Carrera, so maybe he thought no one would notice when he arrived at court in a stolen Lexus instead. When Yorkshire puppies he'd left inside escaped through a window, sheriff's deputies noticed and ran the license plate. He was charged with possession of a stolen car and computer, as well as animal cruelty. Number 16, Trevor Jones. Ever just want to check your Facebook one more time? 34-year-old Trevor Jones couldn't resist when he broke into a house in Gwinnett County, Georgia, in November 2011. Unfortunately for him, he used the home computer to log in. To be fair, it's no wonder he wanted some social media downtime. A woman whose house he had tried to rob earlier had seen his car, taken his keys and wallet.
You broke into somebody's house to rob them, right? Yeah, pretty sure to rob them. But instead of going ahead and leaving and taking it, you go use their computer and log into your Facebook. Like, they can't just figure.
And called the police. Jones had to swim a pond to escape before breaking into another nearby house. Still, he probably should have logged out of Facebook before leaving. Instead, he gave police everything they needed to identify him and issue arrest warrants. Number 15, Albert Bailey.
Police in Connecticut say they had ample warning of a bank robbery because the two suspects called the bank ahead of time, telling an employee to get a bag of money ready.
We're going to say this now. If you're planning on robbing a store or a bank,
you call the bank and say, hey, I'm about to come rob you. Go ahead and have a bag of money ready. You don't think that's going to alert the employees to go ahead and call the police before you get there?
Don't call ahead and ask them suspicious questions or warn them that you're coming.
This can't be like, ain't no way y'all really do this stuff.
Like, as you can see, we are in fact robbing your bank. So with a little cooperation, I won't have to blow your heads off.
Seemingly inspired by our previous entry, Albert Bailey called the bank and told him he was coming to rob them so that they would have the money ready for him when he got there.
That's not going to
He even had an accomplice enter the bank with a note informing the tellers who Bailey was.
So you get there, they're going to be waiting on you.
Obviously, the tellers had called the police, who apprehended Bailey immediately.
Hold it right there. I'm taking you in.
Number 14, R.C. Gatlin. Curiosity killed the cat, and it also caught the criminal. In 1988, R.C. Gatlin came across some friendly Detroit police officers who were showing off their squad car's computer to a few local kids. His interest piqued. Gatlin approached the officers and asked them to give him a demonstration, voluntarily giving them his driver's license so they could run a background check. The cops complied and discovered Gatlin had an outstanding arrest warrant for armed robbery. It wasn't outstanding for much longer. The police arrested Gatlin on the spot. Still, he must have been impressed at how well the technology worked. Number 13, the living dead burglar. There are times when playing dead might be a smart idea. In the animal world, the Virginia opossum plays dead to avoid predators, and some fish feign death to attract prey. But when a 23-year-old man broke into a Spanish funeral home in March 2008, he learned it isn't the most successful strategy in the human world. When police arrived to investigate the reported break-in, this man tried to fool them by lying on a table in a glass chamber used for wakes. Police were tipped.
What the hell are you breaking into the funeral home? What you gonna do? Take a casket? Take the body? Take the body while it's in the casket? The hell could you possibly want out of a funeral home?
Off when they noticed that, for a corpse, he was awfully alive, breathing and everything. Number 12. Christian Bala.
Polish intellectual Christian Bala believed he could get away with murder. He's now serving 25 years in prison.
To commit a crime, you have to be slightly arrogant. If you get away with the crime, this arrogance can increase to the point where you feel untouchable. After murdering Dariusz Janiszewski in 2000, Polish author Christian Bala wrote a novel titled Amok, which featured an eerily similar murder and details of the case only the murderer himself could have been privy to.
The torture and murder of advertising executive Dariusz Janiszewski goes unsolved for nearly 3 years, until Christian Bala posts extracts of his first violent novel on his blog.
Police uncovered clues relating to the murder, most of which came from the novel, eventually arresting and charging Bala.
It was a very personal murder. He had a score to settle.
To their shock, they discovered on his computer plans to kill another person to tie in with the next novel he was planning to write.
From his cell, Bala still rankles at how his novel was interpreted by the police.
Bala's infamy lives on. In 2017, Amok was adapted into a feature film by director Kasia Adamik. Number 11, Christopher Cron. It's only polite to answer the phone. It could be someone important, like the company that monitors the alarm you just tripped. On the night of his birthday, 47-year-old Christopher Cron broke into the Junkanoo bar on Fort Myers Beach to steal a bottle of Grand Marnier. When the alarm company called, he not only answered the phone, but also gave his full name. Because he hadn't hidden his face either, police were able to identify and arrest him the next day based on video surveillance of the break-in. Number 10, Eloise.
You gonna rob a place and then answer the phone and then give them your full name? It's not that bright. It's not that bright, bro.
D. Reeves.
This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs.
Buying drugs is an art because you don't have the option to exchange or refund your purchases if you don't like the product you get. Apparently, no one told this to Eloise Reeves, who had the gall to go to the police to complain about the quality of the crack cocaine she'd just bought. She reportedly pulled the crack rock from her mouth and placed it on the cop car for the deputy to inspect.
What you need?
One, please.
One what?
One rock of
crack.
A crack rock. Is that enough?
She was charged with the possession of cocaine
One
and
crack
fined roughly $1,500. Number 9, Jonathan Ochoa. People
Let me
have
get
busy
one
lives,
crack
and
rock.
sometimes the only way to keep track of important events and dates is by keeping a diary.
Dear Diary, Sleeping Beauty is having a slumber party tomorrow, but Dad says I can't go. He never lets me out after sunset.
It might be a good idea to leave out any planned criminal activity, however. This seemingly never registered with Jonathan Ochoa, who on June 12, 2010 wrote, "Go Portsmouth robbery happens" in his diary.
Your diary proved very interesting to read.
You read my journal? The police were able to link him to the robbery as the getaway driver, and when confronted, Ochoa attempted to blame it entirely on his buddy.
Arrest him.
Wow.
It's his fault.
There is plenty of fault to be passed around.
Number 8, Mark Smith.
I only got nothing to say
We
about
aren't
the
sure
last
if there's a criminal handbook, but we have to guess that falling asleep in the house you're robbing has to be high on the things not to do list. Mark.
You broke into a house to rob them, then you fell asleep while you were in the house? I mean, that's the most dumbest shit I ever heard. Like, you can't be serious, but you gonna break in the house and fall asleep?
Smith must not have read that page.
By dinner, I popped a few more on top of some cocktails and a Valium or two.
Smith decided to take a quick nap under his victim's bed, drunk on vodka and high on Valium, only to be discovered by the homeowner, who immediately called the police.
Not off. I wake up in strange places. I have no idea how I got there.
You need to lighten up.
We've heard of cat burglars before, but Smith seems to associate more with cat nappers.
Where am I? What's going on?
Number 7.
I wonder what the conversation was like when she found him under the bed. I wonder, like, did she say anything to him? Well, no, obviously you will leave out. Try not to wake him up. If you wake him up, then he probably is gonna harm you or whatever. Imagine what he told the police. Why are you sleeping on this woman's bed? Oh, I had nowhere else to go. I just need to take a nap. You going to jail. Now you'll have your place to nap for sure.
And Christopher Koch. In any criminal endeavor, there's plenty that can go wrong. But step 1 is actually getting inside the building you hope to rob. 28-year-old Christopher Koch should have looked at the opening hours before attempting to rob a Citizens and Northern Bank in Liberty, Pennsylvania. Wearing a ski mask and gloves, he rushed the door, only to find the bank had just closed. To be completely fair, what kind of bank closes at noon? As Koch sheepishly retreated, employees inside wrote down his license plate number, and he was later arrested.
And I want you to call the police. I want to go back to jail, please.
Number 6, Derek Mosley. So we know you're not supposed to bring a gun to a knife fight, but what about a baseball bat?
Revolvers. Yeah, revolvers.
This is exactly what Derek Mosley did as he tried to rob a gun shop and steal a firearm, equipped only with a baseball bat and a knife.
It's a lot more compact than the flaming sword, but it's not nearly as impressive. It doesn't have that Wrath of the Almighty edge to it.
Of course, the manager pulled out his own gun and held Mosley until the police arrived. Who would have imagined that the manager of a gun store would possess his own gun? Will wonders never cease?
So you're going to rob a gun store. I'm pretty sure whoever's in the gun store has a gun with them. And you come with a knife and a baseball bat. A knife and a baseball bat ain't gonna stop no bullets. I mean, that wasn't smart at all. I mean, that's how... You can't be serious, bro. You're gonna rob a gun store. Oh, I'm gonna go rob this gun store. He probably ain't got no gun on him. He's in a store full of guns. He owns a gun store. You don't think he's gonna have his own gun?
Can't do that.
Number 5. Michael Anthony Fuller. If you're already committing a crime, why not go big? In 2011, a 53-year-old North Carolina man tried to use a $1 million bill to buy a microwave, a vacuum cleaner, and other merchandise at Walmart.
That must be worth a fortune.
The total price of the goods was $476, so he was apparently fairly optimistic about how much change Walmart keeps in their registers. Unfortunately, the cashier didn't have $999,524 on him and knew there's no such thing as a $1 million bill, leading to Fuller's arrest. As it turns out, sometimes when it comes to going big or going home, you should probably just go home.
Yeah, just take your ass home, bro.
In what, bud?
Number 4. An uncanny resemblance. A fake ID is a teenage rite of passage, but when you show a fake ID, you should make sure you're not handing it to the actual owner. You know, the one whose face is on the...
Lakewood waitress handed on stolen ID while serving drink. You stole somebody's ID to use it. Because you don't have one, you couldn't use yours, or you're underage. And you hand the person. You mean to tell me, I'm pretty sure you've seen that, you looked at ID plenty of times. You mean to tell me you couldn't recognize the person in front of you? Looks exactly just like the person on this ID. And you handed in your own ID, you thought, and they realized it was their ID. Like, it just, you can't be more stupider than that, bro. This is dumb. You don't...
ID you're holding in your hand? That's what happened to one 26-year-old woman at Applebee's in 2013, when she showed the waitress Brianna Pretty her own driver's license as proof of age. It had been stolen with a bunch of other possessions a month earlier.
Can't we resolve this conflict without anger?
Instead of bringing her customer a margarita, Brianna brought the cops, and the thief was caught
and another thing, you know damn well ain't nobody that stupid. You think they just gonna look at you? They gonna look at the ID and look at you and see if you match the person's ID. You know damn well that did not look like you. So how the hell was you gonna get away with it?
Ended. Number 3, Ruben Zarate.
Open the safe, Pops. Open the goddamn safe!
Deciding to rob a muffler shop, Ruben Zarate brought a gun and demanded the money, only to discover that the money was in the safe that could only be opened by the absent store manager.
Now, I know you come back here to open your safe. So now you can open it.
He decided it would be a good idea to leave his number with the store employees so that they could call him when the manager...
Rob a bank, or attempt to rob a bank. The safe can't be opened unless the manager open it with who's not there. You already going to jail for trying to rob the bank. And you leave your name and number for the employees to have the manager call you when he's back. Like, they're not going to say, this guy broke in, tried to rob the bank, but I told him only you could open it. So he told me to tell you to call him when he gets back, when you get back, so he can rob the bank. Your number and your name is going to the police. You can't do a crime and be stupid, bro. And I bet you he didn't even think about that shit, but he just went in there and tried it. Give me all your money right now. I want it all. Only the manager open. He's not here. We'll have him give me a call when he get back. Like, they're not going to call the police. You're already going to jail for trying. So why would they? Like, they actually going to give the manager your damn number for you to come back and rob the bank.
Turned. Of course, they called the police, who set a trap for Zarate and arrested him.
Excuse me? Placed under arrest.
Are you kidding?
Head behind your back, sir.
I'm trying to help here.
Heck, we're just surprised Zarate didn't leave his name, address, and social security number too.
Drop the gun. You are under.
Surprised Zarate didn't leave his name.
Are you kidding?
Surprised Zarate didn't leave his name, address, and social security number
leave his
too.
Name, but
Drop
he left
the gun.
number.
You are under arrest.
Number 2, robber of Halifax Bank in London. Committing a crime is a stressful endeavor, and mistakes do happen. If there's one thing all robbers should remember, however, it's that your gun is your most valuable asset. This particular robber seemed to forget that fact as he attempted to rob the Halifax Bank in London.
Put the money in the bag.
Demanding the teller fill the bag with money, he accidentally gave away his gun to the teller instead of the bag. After a brief moment of confusion, the bank worker retreated, forcing the robber to flee. At least he managed to escape with a bank employee's bicycle, and so we still don't know his name. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few dishonorable mentions.
Oh my God, bro.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You'll have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. MacArthur Wheeler. When he was arrested for robbing 2 banks in Pittsburgh in 1995, MacArthur Wheeler was genuinely incredulous. His logic had been impeccable. Lemon juice is used in invisible ink, therefore if he rubbed his face with lemon juice, no one would be able to see his face. Right?
Right.
Psychologists who studied the case named it the Dunning-Kruger effect, a cognitive bias in which unskilled people are least able to perceive their own incompetence, and so become overconfident. In other words, when people are really dumb, they can't see how dumb they really are. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watch Mojo, and be sure to...
This shit here ridiculous, bro. You're gonna be a criminal. You're gonna do a crime, bro. You gotta be smart. You can't just do dumb shit. Such as hand somebody their own ID. Leave your number down for them to call the manager to come back and get you. I mean, let him know when he gets back. And this guy really thought because lemon juice is used as invisible ink, they would not be able to see his face. How much more stupid can you get? Alright, man. I'm more reactions coming, more videos coming, man. I'm out.